Big update! Steelers fans are celebrating the news that came out this week, and one of them is the signing of a great player. I have a few more things to bring to you, but before I continue, make sure you've hit that like button hard. But only do so if you've been a Steelers fan for 17 plus years. It's always great to see loyal fans from all generations interacting here. It means a lot to us. If you can, write, "Go Steelers, my heart bleeds black and gold." Now let's get to the point. The Pittsburgh Steelers have officially locked up one of their most reliable defensive players, Deshawn Elliot, with a 2-year, $12.5 million contract extension with $9.21 million guaranteed. And folks, let me tell you, this isn't just another offseason signing. This change says a lot about the direction of the team, the defensive priorities, and the kind of culture that is being established under Mike Tomlin and general manager Omar Khan. Deshawn Elliot isn't just a name on the roster. He's a dictator. If you watched even a few games last season, you noticed. Game after game, Elliot was on the field, making clean, hard-hitting tackles and always being in the right place at the right time. The guy's instincts are elite, and it's rare to find a safety with his level of aggression who doesn't compromise on fundamentals. He's not out there missing tackles or blowing coverages. He plays fast, but he plays smart. That alone makes him a Mike Tomlin type of guy. And let's talk about his fit. Elliot isn't some outsider mercenary who just shows up for the paycheck. This man genuinely embraces the Steelers' identity. Earlier this offseason, he openly praised Coach Tomlin and expressed just how welcomed and valued he feels in Pittsburgh. That kind of buy-in can't be overstated. When a player feels like he belongs, when he feels like family, you get commitment, leadership, and consistency. That's exactly what the Steelers just paid for. Now, if you're thinking this was just a reward for last season, think again. It's a strategic move. The Steelers didn't just retain a solid player. They locked down the kind of versatile box safety that modern defenses are built around. In a league that's moving fast toward hybrid roles and 3 safety looks, Elliot is a linchpin. He's that guy who gives the coaching staff the flexibility to get creative. Whether it's dropping into coverage, coming up in run support, or matching up against tight ends, Elliot brings the goods. And this isn't just about Elliot. It's also about the bigger picture. By extending him now, the Steelers have effectively solidified their safety duo for the foreseeable future. Deshawn Elliot lining up next to Minkah Fitzpatrick. That's a 1-2 punch of physicality, smarts, and coverage range. Add to that the new addition of Juan Thornhill, who brings more of a ball-hawking element, and suddenly you've got a 3-headed monster in the defensive backfield. With the way the NFL is evolving, don't be surprised if the Steelers lean heavily into 3 safety packages. We've seen glimpses of that in past years, but this season it might become a staple of the defensive scheme. And yes, let's get real. The Steelers are not just throwing money around without a plan. This extension is cap smart too. At just $6.25 million per year, Elliott's deal is a value signing, especially when you're already paying top dollar for Minkah. It's strategic, it's cost-effective, and it ensures depth without compromising star power.
But here's the twist. While Elliott's extension is locked and loaded, the conversation now shifts toward the elephant in the room. TJ Watt. There's chatter, there's speculation, and yes, there's tension. We've been down this road before with big-name extensions taking time. Watt's situation could easily stretch into training camp, and from what I'm hearing, the Steelers are playing the long game. They've got a number in mind, and they're not budging just yet. Watt, of course, knows his value. He's a generational player who's already pushed to be the highest-paid non-quarterback before. So buckle up, that contract story is far from over. In the meantime, this Elliott extension sends a strong message. It says this team values smart, physical, dependable defenders. It says the locker room culture is intact. And it says, without a doubt, that the Steelers are thinking beyond 2025. But now I want to hear from you. How do you feel about this Deshawn Elliot extension? Does it make you feel more confident about the Steelers' defense going into the season? Is this the kind of move that sets the tone for a playoff run? Let me know in the comments. I'm reading every single one. And speaking of tone setting, let's not overlook just how calculated and under the radar this move really was. Leading up to the announcement, there wasn't a ton of noise around Deshawn Elliott's contract status. There weren't leaks, no insider buzz, no cryptic social media hints. It just happened, and that's what makes it even more impressive. Omar Khan and the Steelers front office pulled this off quietly, efficiently, and, most importantly, before the heat of training camp. That's the kind of front office discipline and strategic timing that championship-caliber organizations operate with. This was about controlling the narrative and securing a key piece before it could become a distraction. And let's not forget, Elliott was heading into a contract year. He easily could have waited, bet on himself, and tried to hit the market in 2025 for a bigger payday. But he didn't. That tells you a lot about the mutual respect between the player and the organization. Elliot isn't just signing up for the cash. He's signing up for the vision, for the mission, and for the future of this Steelers defense. You have to wonder, what does this signal for other pending extensions or acquisitions? Because if you've been following closely, then you know this front office isn't done. Not by a long shot. There are serious murmurs about the Steelers making a push to bring in another high-caliber corner. The names Jair Alexander and Jalen Ramsey keep coming up. And those aren't smoke and mirrors rumors. People close to the team, including some who were first on the George Pickens and Aaron Rodgers stories this offseason, are indicating that there's a very real possibility one of those stars ends up in black and gold before camp begins. Imagine pairing a shutdown corner like Ramsey or Alexander with the safety trio of Minkah Fitzpatrick, Deshawn Elliot, and Juan Thornhill. That's a secondary that doesn't just compete, it dominates. It confuses quarterbacks, clamps down on tight ends, and delivers physical punishment across the middle. With Elliott locked in, the Steelers are setting the foundation to take that next leap from solid to elite on the defensive side. But there's also another layer to this: leadership. Elliott's presence in the locker room is no small thing. He's not just a football guy, he's a culture guy. He's vocal, he's committed, and he carries himself like a veteran despite being in his mid-20s. When a younger team sees someone like Elliott get rewarded, someone who's consistent, who's not flashy on social media but shows up and performs every Sunday, it sends a strong message about what this franchise values. Now, as we inch closer to training camp, attention will naturally start to shift. People will be watching to see how the Elliott extension shapes the dynamic on defense. Will he take on a more vocal leadership role? How will his chemistry with Minkah evolve? What kind of impact will Thornhill's skill set have on the play calling? And will the Steelers truly commit to a 3-safety-based defense? And let's circle back to the financial side for a moment. Getting Elliott at just over $6 million per year is a masterclass in cap management. When you've got stars like TJ Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick already commanding top-tier money, every dollar matters. You can't build a deep, versatile roster if you're constantly overpaying for talent. But when you can secure high-level production at a reasonable price, that's how you build a Super Bowl contender. You need cornerstone pieces, and you also need value signings that outperform their contracts. Elliott, right now, is that guy. And speaking of cornerstones, let's not sleep on what this means for the evolution of this defense under Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin. With a veteran like Elliott, who brings both physicality and intelligence, the Steelers can afford to get exotic with their looks. We're going to see more disguise, more blitz packages, and more unpredictability. You don't extend a safety like this unless you plan to use him as a weapon, not just a placeholder. So buckle up, Steelers Nation. If this offseason has taught us anything, it's that Omar Khan is playing chess while the rest of the league is still moving pawns. And with training camp just around the corner, don't be surprised if the next big headline drops when we least expect it. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that like button, and turn on those notifications. We've got more breaking updates coming your way, and if something big drops tonight, you can bet I'll be back here with all the latest. Until then, stay loud, stay proud, and as always, go Steelers, my heart bleeds black and gold.